So hundreds of people reaching out today, that's the number, 500 to 600 cases reaching out, quoting anxiety as a issue in their daily life and related to news. Some news, so it's like doom scrolling. Is it fake or reality? Because people are constantly on top of news, and that's where, is it really affecting your mental health?
It's a very genuine, I wouldn't call it fake anyway. It's a very, very genuine issue. And I'm so glad that you've raised this topic today, because we as doctors also get a chance somehow to talk to an audience and tell them that knowledge overload is as good as having a sugar overload or a salt overload or a fat overload in your body. As cholesterol kills your arteries and sugar gives you diabetes, a news overload and so much information about so much which is not necessary can give you anxiety without any reason.
So I'll tell you the case. It's like people were on top of news during COVID time, and now this is post-pandemic, and there are other issues which have cropped in. There are monkeypox, and again another pandemic which people try to correlate with past. And yes, many have lost their loved one in the pandemic. Apart from that, everything end to end, maybe an earthquake or the drastic weather conditions, which of course cannot be ignored.
See, there are certain issues, Sreya, which are real. Let's say, for example, global warming. Let's say, for example, the whole gamut of COVID, the deaths, the kind of clinical damage, the kind of potential financial damages that people went through. And that in itself was a big reality and a big jolt. People had never ever seen something like this before. But on top of that, the media according to me played a big villain. For us doctors at least, excuse the media for us. The fact that there was so much information available for so many unnecessary things, that we had people with 99-degree fever coming to us with chest x-rays, MRIs and a COVID test. And then they would understand or not, but they would say, okay, the result D-dimer reports are this much.
Right.
And then anybody's platelet, remember a few years back we had a dengue outbreak. The platelets were the villain then.
Right.
So the platelets have fallen.
Everybody knows all the numbers. Yeah.
And then on top of that, there are the uncalibrated labs in which the normal values on the right hand side, which played complete havoc. People were not switching on to ventilators because they were not able to breathe because of COVID. They could not breathe because of anxiety. And I won't, let's not say about who played what, but I really would say that, there is a certain amount of restraint which you need to ration on yourself, and you tell yourself that this much is essential and beyond this, I don't need to know. There was an incident of a plane crash in Nepal, and one of my patients' husband called me one day night and said that, my wife is not doing well and she's been vomiting all night and she's got diarrhea. So after asking her all the right questions about, okay, what you've eaten and everything, blah, then it just came up that we've got flight tickets for Nepal in 4 days' time. And then the girl said that, I can't get onto that plane because planes keep on crashing there.
Okay.
So I had to, and I say this to my audience today, I actually went through the statistics of how many plane crashes in the last 5 years in Nepal. We gave her that information, and it is only after that she could fly. So news is an instrument to stay connected. News is a very good method of knowing about the world. But news as an overload is as bad as an excess of anything is bad. You don't need to know what's happening in any corner of the year, of the whole world. You need to be very, very clinical about letting your physician look after you beyond a point, letting your mind be the filter and telling yourself, I don't need to know this and I'm okay not knowing. And you can be free of anxiety, I think.
I think that's a very good way to put it. But the brain constantly is in a state of hyperstimulation. When you are on news, and nowadays you just cannot avoid news in every form, whether it's in your mobile, or there are many few people who nowadays are taking those paper, those kind of news. So, I have heard about habits which you can take up or, practice in your day-to-day life, which, take you out of that constant news, which you are looking at. Or this may be a type of addiction. I don't know, is it gadget addiction, or, is there any habit which you can take up?
See, I've always had that. First, choose your media. Choose the channel which you think I'm going to follow. Don't try following 107 channels, all which are because they're available to you. Don't follow all social sites because you need to find out everything which is happening on the social media. So first is choose your platforms. Second, stick to them. And third is always take every figment of news or any piece of news with that little degree of a knowledge which says that media is also out there to create sensation. If you're able to be clinical about this, then the sensations within you will remain very sane.
So stay away from sensational news, sensational stories, and inculcating a proper routine in life, where maybe you can put off your gadgets at a certain time, or you will have routines when you don't go into delving into that phone of yours, whenever you get that 10 minutes break. So I think these simple practices can help us. And but then, are there any other red flags you see here?
I've had all my patients who used to come to me and say, okay, fine, we reported that there was this pneumonia, somebody read this ground glass opacities. Oh God, this is a mantra. Do I have ground glass opacities? Do I have pneumonia? Do I have a D-dimer score which is just going through the sky? So I used to always say the same thing, that, switch off from things which are giving you a missed beat. Stay away. If you've got a logical question, if you think you've got a fear, go to your doctor, clarify that doubt. Do not rush to the nearest lab before you go to your doctor. You're just wasting your blood and putting yourself jabbed for no reason whatsoever. Just go to your doctor, talk to them sensibly, ask them the right questions, confide in them, tell them. And once the doubt is clarified, then stay on it. Like, you cannot be running every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday and say, okay, fine, this I'm not very sure of. After a while, you need to rein your horses and, rein in your sentiments and let it be a peaceful time where you know that news is important, but news is not the be all end all. Life is. Be happy. I hope we all have read the Gita, which says that the world is going to run on its own pace. Be happy with yours.